Okay, so tell me about the National MS Society of Washington State. How did it come about?
Well, the National MS Society, as an organization, was started by a woman named Sylvia Lowry in 1946. And I'm not sure if this when you'll release this, but it is International Women's Day today. So I think it's so appropriate to recognize Sylvia, um, a young woman whose brother was diagnosed with MS in 1946. And she posted a classified ad in the New York Times. And she asked if anybody who was recovered from MS would please reach out to her because she wanted to help her brother. And of course, no one had recovered from MS at that time. And a bunch of people reached out and said they also wanted to do something about MS. And that's how the MS Society was born. And I love that story because I think it's important to know that we came about because of love. This woman, Sylvia, loved her brother Bernard, and she wanted to make a difference for him. And she did. And all these years later, here we are. So she's a lovely lady. There's a biography about her called Courage, which I encourage people to read. And then different chapters formed over the course of the last 70 plus years. And our chapter in Seattle is called the Greater Northwest chapter, and we're not just Washington State, actually. We also serve people in the state of Alaska and the state of Montana. So that's why we changed our name from Greater Washington to Greater Northwest. And we have been around, I think, as a chapter since the 1950s.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, what do you guys actually do at the National MS Society in your particular, chapter? How do you like make sure that people with disabilities, are as independent and really can live their own autonomous, independent lives?
Yeah. Well, this is absolutely core to who we are as an organization. Empowering people to live their best lives with MS is a part of our mission. And so we achieve this mission a couple of different ways. We have a research program that is looking for ways to manage symptoms so that people can live their best lives and to cure the disease. In addition, we are looking for treatments that can restore what has been lost for people. So to rebuild the myelin and to give people back some of the things that have been taken from them. And we also are looking for answers for how to prevent this disease from impacting anybody else. So our research arm also includes training researchers and clinicians to provide the very best care for people with MS. And we work in partnership with our MS clinics and general neurologists around, certainly around our chapter and around the country, to make sure that when they see MS in their office, they know what to do and how to help that person get connected to the society. But I think also one of the really core programs of the MS Society that I want your listeners to know about is our MS Navigators. These are highly trained professionals whose sole job is to help empower people who are impacted by this disease and also to impact the people who love them. It's not always the person who has the disease who feels like they have the bandwidth to call and ask for help. So sometimes it's the people that love them that call and ask for help. And our navigators are there to support people with MS no matter where they are in their journey, and connect them to resources and to teach them and coach them how to be really good advocates for themselves so that they can live the very best life that they possibly can with this disease while we wait for our research team to help us get closer to a cure.
Hmm. With these services often comes stakeholders, in achieving those in whatever goal the organization wants to achieve. So my question is, what sorts of stakeholders do you guys partner with closely to sort of achieve whatever your mission is?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, partnerships, I would say, are essential to any strong organization. And we're so proud to partner with many different MS clinics, as I said, many different general neurologists. Um, we partner with physical therapists. We partner with lots of different organizations that provide services that we can't provide. So some of them that come to mind just in the greater Northwest, we're proud to partner with MS Helping Hands that has a really robust equipment closet. So when somebody doesn't need a mobility device any longer, they can donate their mobility device to this MS closet, and then they make those tools available for other people in need. And then the other organization that I'm proud to partner with is Outdoors for All, which in particular helps us for our Bike MS event to make sure that anybody who has mobility challenges can participate in our Bike MS event if they choose. So they provide adaptable recreational equipment, not just for cycling, but for all kinds of athletic endeavors. And we're proud to call them partners.
Hmm. Yes, I am familiar with Outdoors for All,
Yeah.
and kind of their work and their mission. If I could move on, like, what impact does your organization have on really communities as a whole, particularly, the MS community, disability community?
Well, I think certainly that's a better question to actually ask our community, but I can tell you what we're going for, and then our community can let us know if we're having the impact we desire to have. Um, we want to provide the best, most up-to-date, and vetted information about MS that we possibly can. We want to be the first place that people go when they hear you have MS, rather than just doing a Google search on what that means. We want people to come to us because our researchers, our scientists, our MS clinics, the people that work at the organization and that we partner with take tremendous care to provide the most accurate and up-to-date information on the disease possible. So we're trying to be a place that is a resource for people living with MS and people who love somebody with MS. We also want to be the place where if you want to do something about multiple sclerosis in your community, we can help you find your place in the MS movement. So if you want to advocate with your elected officials for policies that will make the world more accessible for all of us, then you can join our MS activists. If you want to spread awareness, we have an MS ambassador program where you can work with us to help spread the word about what it means to live and to live well with multiple sclerosis. If you want to fundraise, there's lots of opportunities to do that, or to simply volunteer. We want anybody who wants to do something about MS to join us and do something about MS.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, I know this is kind of like a big a question, million-dollar question, but how do you create an inclusive and welcoming environment for everyone with, with MS, for people with disabilities?
Well, this is also a pillar of what we do and who we are as an organization. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is core to our work and informs everything that we do. So we don't always do it perfectly, but we are making efforts to make sure that everyone who is impacted in any way by multiple sclerosis can find their place in our movement and see themselves reflected in the MS movement. And we've done lots of different programs and have lots of different educational opportunities that I think can connect people who live with MS to communities who look like them. And this includes our pediatric MS, new to MS. So for children who have been diagnosed with MS, we have a group for them because when you're 16 and diagnosed with MS, you have very different needs than you do if you are 50 years old and diagnosed. We have a Hispanic and Latinx Experience Summit. We have a Black MS Experience Summit. Our organization internally has employee resource groups to make sure that our employees both feel a sense of belonging in the organization and can extend that sense of belonging into our community. So we have a LGBTQ plus ERG, an ERG for people of color in our organization and their allies. We have a group for people who have done military service and allies. So we're committed to making this a movement for all people who live with MS and are affected by MS. And we're always changing and open to feedback about how to do that better.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's cool.